Hello everybody, today we're reading Clarice Bean. That's me. I know lots of people. Most of them are in my family. A lot of them live in our house and some of them just visit. There's usually a lot of noise and we are always at 6s and 7s, but that's the way we like it. Sometimes I think I could do with a bit of peace of quiet. It's hard to find in our house. Over here is Grandad asleep as usual, with Grandad's canary on his head. This is my mum wondering where she's left her purse. My older brother Kurt, that's me, Clarice Bean. That's Mr. Gilbert, our plumber. That's my cousin Yola. And that's my younger brother, Minel Cricket. That's my dad on the phone. My older sister, Marcy. My Uncle Ted. My cousin Noah. And I don't know who that is. I like peace and quiet, but I don't get much in my room. I'm always busy rushing about. My room is small, so I have to squash everything in. I like to have lots of things just in case. I have this younger brother, Minel Cricket. If he puts one toe over my side, he is sorry. Minel Cricket likes to hang upside down until he turns purple. Then he sort of wriggles around like a maggot. Sometimes I say, I haven't got time for all your nonsense. And he says, twit. And I say, twit and a half. And he says, twit with carrots in your ears. And then I flick his nose with my ruler. And he says, Mum, in this really whiny brother way. And Mum says, no flicking noses with rulers. And I say, what do you flick noses with then? And she says, celery. And I say, we've run out. And she says, no flicking noses then. My sister Marcy has a room of her own, so she has peace and quiet whenever she fancies. Marcy likes to wear makeup and read about boys. When I have time on my hands, I peep round the door and I try to make her notice me. She says, go away. And I say, why? Because I don't want to talk to you. Why? Because you are irritating. Why? Because you are a little brat. Why? You'd better get out of my room before I count to 10. And I don't need to ask why. My older brother Kurt is usually in his room with his door shut. He doesn't talk much, but he wears t-shirts with writing on them. They say, shut up and go away. Mum says, he's at that difficult age. Dad says, he should try being 44. Mum says, it's not easy being a teenager. Dad says, it's no picnic being the father of one, and it would help if he would stop grunting. Mum says, he's in the dark tunnel of adolescence, but usually he's just in his room. Kurt says he wants to be left alone. Lucky for him, he has a room all to himself, and it smells of socks. It's all right for Dad. When he wants to be alone, he goes to work. He has a smart, marbly office. It's wall-to-wall windows and office equipment. He has a swiveling chair and a desk the size of a bed. It's full of important business, and you can only get to talk to him if Miss Eggleton buzzes you through. When Dad wants some peace and quiet, Miss Eggleton says, "I'm afraid he's in a meeting." Really, he's eating tutti frutti ice cream and listening to Frank Sinatra on the stereo. Granddad spends all his time having peace and quiet. He is asleep most often in a chair with a cat in his head. My brother Mindel and I like to jump on him and snip his mustache with Mum's nail scissors. Sometimes Granddad and me play snap. Granddad's eyesight is on the blink, so normally I win. He says, "Is that a jack of hearts?" And I say, "No, it's a 3 of spades, Granddad." Yesterday, he poured a carton of soup on his cornflakes. He said, "I think this milk's off. It looks a bit lumpy." And I said, "It's pea soup, Granddad." When Mum wants some peace and quiet, she balances on one leg in her bedroom or listens to whales singing in the bath. Sometimes she has candles round the edge that smell. Other times she plays one of her learn a foreign language in a fortnight tapes. She's doing Mandarin at the moment. So far she can say, "I've spilled custard on my cardigan," and "There's a spider hiding in my hotel room." She likes speaking in other languages. It makes her feel like she is on holiday. Sometimes she'll say, "I've had it up to here with you lot." When I get a bee in my bonnet and Mum needs some peace and quiet, she says, "Go and run about in the garden." This usually does the trick. Sometimes I chuck potatoes over next door's wall. Because I might want to be an acrobat, I have to keep nimble and flexible. I do this by scrunching into the laundry basket. Getting out is the tricky bit. I do balancing and smiling in tights. That's a very, very important part of acrobatics. There's no peace and quiet in the garden because there's this boy that lives next door. He likes to call over the wall. He says, "What are you doing? Can I play? I know you can hear me." Granddad calls him Shouting Boy, and I call him Robert Granger. He always wants to know what I'm up to, and he always wants to do what I'm doing, which is normally twirling until I fall over. Robert Granger doesn't have any ideas of his own, except copying me. So I go indoors to do handstands quietly on my side of the room. Then Meinl Cricket starts playing football on my bed. He says he does it accidentally. I say, more like accidentally on purpose. I get cross, so I accidentally chuck his duvet out the window. It lands on next door's dog, and Dad gets in a row with the neighbors. Dad says, "Right now, you are not the flavor of the month, young lady." Meinl is grinning like a pleased twit. So I tip a bowl of spaghetti hoops on his head. I am in big trouble. Mum says I should try to think before I act. And she's right. If I thought about it, I would have put rhubarb crumble down his trousers. I am in such big trouble that I get sent to my room for 3 whole hours. I love it. It's the best piece of quiet I've had in ages. The only time my family is quiet at the same time is when we sit down to watch our favorite show, Martians in the Kitchen. The rest of the time it is non-stop noise, but that's the way we like it. That's my Uncle Ted eating again. There's Yola and Dad and Noah. Minor Cricket not talking. Kurt smiling. Mum. Marcy painting her toes. Grandad, who's awake. Fuzzy, our cat. Cement. And me, Clarice Bean. Thank you for joining me while we read this funny book. Join us again next time.